So the last video that we did was on the 1954 International, and basically its whole registration, title incident, all the headache that came at the very beginning. And it was so well received, it's much more of a laid-back style of content, but you guys liked it enough that I'm going to start doing a couple more of them, so expect a few more coming down the pipeline. Because I have some stories, and, you know, I like to talk, so it's a win-win for both of us, really. Now, I used to have a 1978 Dodge Colt here. You guys might have seen it at the very beginning of this YouTube channel. We actually have a video of my 250 hooking onto it with chains, dragging its carcass through the snow to where the new owner basically hooked up with a chain and drug her away. Well, the story on me picking up that car is actually quite entertaining. So I figured what a suit in part 2 than telling you guys how I got that 1979 Dodge Colt. And there was a couple things in this that would just make your head roll. So yeah, let's dive right into it. Like every other good decision in life, you know, things start out with Facebook Marketplace. Kijiji. Up in Fredericton, there was a younger fella who was selling his 1979 Dodge Colt Project. The title basically stated that the engine was seized solid, the car needed a little bit of rust work, but the car was actually complete. Which was pretty cool. But if you guys don't know, a Dodge Colt is a captive import. Basically licensed by Chrysler Corporation, but it's a Mitsubishi. It's just distributed by Dodge. So they slapped a Dodge Colt brand on it, so then they could have an import car during the fuel crisis. He wanted to put a 4G63 Mitsubishi, one from an Evo, and make it quite a zippy little car, you know? But like everything else in life, things get in the way. That project got shelved, and then he listed it on Facebook Marketplace. That's where I found it. I messaged the guy. At this time, I'm going to school for my Block 1, and I'm also working part-time at Ryder. So I tell the guy, hey, I have school off tomorrow, but I gotta work that night. Can I pick the car up tomorrow? He's like, oh yeah, sure thing. It's in the back. There's a little bit of a snowbank, but I have a bus parked in front. Wait, but we can just move the bus. Okay, that's fine. Sounds good. So everything's all going to plan, you know? I just made the tire chains for the 250, so I throw them in the box. It seems like I get all of my projects around January, February, but I don't try to. So I throw the chains in, I throw a shovel in, I throw a couple toe straps in, you know, just general stuff. At this point, the 250 had a Lincoln locker in the back, aka it's a MIG welded open carrier. That way it's locked 24/7 on my 36x9 military tires. So it's a tank. I'm sure it can go through absolutely anything. So we hook onto the U-Haul trailer and we go from Moncton to Fredericton. Tons of time. I go super early. I get there at 11 o'clock. It's a 2-hour drive from Fredericton to Moncton. So at the latest, I should be back by 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I gotta work at 5. So it's fine. No problems whatsoever. Well, I get to this guy's house, and, well, the snowbank is about 8 feet tall. Okay, that's a big bank. He shows me the car. In a snowbank, all right. It's all the way up to its gills, basically. The car's never gonna move out of there unless I can hook a chain onto it and really reef on her. So that's all right. I got the big blue diesel. I can just unhook the trailer, hook onto it with a tow strap, and just pull it out, as long as he moves the bus. So I tell him, oh yeah, you just want to move the bus there? Oh yeah, I'll get into it. He gets into the bus, turns the key, roar. If you guys know what I'm talking about, basically, it has no batteries at all. So then he tells me, oh, but I plugged it in. Oh, no, plugging in is only gonna do the block heater, pal. It's not gonna do the batteries. Oh, okay. Yeah, we gotta move it. Well, can you hook onto it with your truck, pull it into the cul-de-sac, and then we'll just push it back into the cul-de-sac with your truck? I'm like, that would work, except this is a full-size bus. It's air brake. So, and there's no fit-ins on the tanks or anything like that. There's no Cajun bolts on any of the maxis. So I tell him, it's just like, if you can't get this bus started, I can't pull it with my 250. He's like, what do you mean? Oh, it should be able to pull that for days. I'm sorry, pal. I can hook onto it and I can just reef on it all day. It's in a snowbank. It's never going to move. There's not a lot I can do, but let me figure some stuff out. So I hop back in my truck. and I'm just kind of thinking on what I can do, and I'm thinking, well, I have a jack in the back, I have tire chains, and I have roughly 90 to 95 feet of disposable tug rope kind of deal, like a tug chain. And the way his driveway was set up, you had the house here, you had the Bluebird bus right here with the air brakes, it's never gonna move. You had the snowbank right here and an ice rink, and then the Dodge Colt was at the back of this Bluebird bus. Okay, let's walk around the bus. So I get out of the truck and I walk around the bus. Well, the way how this bank is set up is basically, if the Bluebird bus is right here and you're facing the cul-de-sac and the house would be like right here. So this is the Bluebird bus. The 8-foot bank starts like this. So it's technically only like 2 feet, then 4 feet, then 6 feet, then 8. And then it goes to its normal bit and then it dips down again. Well, I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I got pretty big tires on my truck. I don't have to get all the way to the back of this Bluebird in order to pull it. So I'm like, you know what? Let me unhook my trailer. I'm gonna unhook this trailer completely. I am then gonna install my tire chains on my welded diff, put it in 4-wheel drive, and we'll see if we can get back there a little bit. So that's what I do. Put the tire chains on, all that, and then I slowly put it in 4-low and I back it up. It instantly sinks into the ground, but you know, the tire chains start chewing and it starts bringing us back. So between that and shoveling, I made a little channel right beside the Bluebird bus, and I just had enough tow strap from where I couldn't go backwards anymore because the banks were getting too high, to where I could actually hook on to this little Dodge Colt. So I tell them, you know, if we can dig enough of a channel just in front of the Dodge Colt, so when we hook onto it and I give it a tug, it will hopefully go to where there's no snow. So we dig a channel, we shake the car, like we grab both of the fenders on the front, because it's just a 4-cylinder, it doesn't weigh a lot. So we can kind of bounce it, I call it shimmying the front end. We kind of jump in sync there, pull in sync, and we can shimmy the whole car over to the side. With the strap hooked on, and him holding the wheel inside the car there, whatever, I tell him I'm just gonna give it a good solid tug and we'll see what happens. At this point, you know, if it starts tearing things off, I'm gonna pay a little bit less for it, because now it's starting to get into labor and stuff. It's like, no, it's okay. It's been sitting here for 6 months now. I just kind of want it out of my yard as long as I get scrap price. Okay, sounds good to me. I give it a tug, and it moves about 2.5 feet before it hits another chunk of snow, ice, whatever. It's getting close to the Bluebird bus, but I can kind of back up my truck and shimmy it a little bit over to the side and then move it again. So that's what we do. We do that a whole bunch of times, and we get it to kind of clear the back end of this Bluebird bus. I completely unhook, drive forward, and then in my bright mind, I'm like, well, I kind of want to get a better angle at this thing, so I back more into the snowbank, kind of near where this ice rink is, and the whole truck just sinks right down to the diff. Well, I tell you what, there was no hope that I was going to get pulled out by anything in the time frame that we had. And, you know, the funny thing about my blue Ford is every time it's got stuck, it's never got permanently stuck. It's always unstuck itself. I didn't want to break my record, so with a lot of redline, again, we got a welded diff with tire chains on the back, 4-wheel drive on the front, with a lot of redline. The truck started hopping and everything like that, but every time it hopped, the tire chains at the back were grabbing more and more ice, and even though it was digging us down, it dug us all the way down to the dirt, and once it hit solid ice and dirt, the tire chains could grab. We pulled it right out of that snowbank, the F-250, by itself, which was awesome. So that's a plus. We almost had a really bad day, but we still gotta get this Dodge Colt, and we're running out of time at this point, because it's like already 2 o'clock, 2-hour drive back, and we're not even loaded up on the trailer yet. So I grab hold of that car, and about 3 more solid yanks with that 250 in the cul-de-sac basically at this point now, and it keeps pulling that Dodge Colt through the snowbank, and it's literally just kind of like the front end's disappearing under the snowbank because it keeps plowing through it. It pops out like a daisy on the other side, and We're all set now. We can load this little sucker up. If it was anyone but me, they would have walked away from this car because it was so much of a hassle to get. So we loaded this $600 Dodge Colt up onto my trailer, all strapped down. I give them the money and sayonara. We're all set. I have a 2-hour drive in my 4-speed 6.9 diesel F250 towing this Dodge Colt. And I look at the clock and it's like 3:27. 2 hours don't fit in an hour and a half, I can tell you that. That 4-speed and that 6.9 were humming the entire time all the way back. Even though we're humming along at a good click, a 6.9 diesel 4-speed only tops out at so much. So we got guys going 160, 170 by us. But each one of them is driving by, yeah, thumbs up. Because at basically, when that engine's spinning up on that 6.9, it's billowing black smoke, and likely the EGTs are just shooting right through the roof. Because when you're pulling an old car with an old truck, just giving her on the Trans-Canada Highway. Work started at 4:30 or 5 o'clock. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but we got there with 2 minutes to spare. The rest is history. We did a lot of work here on that car and we ended up selling it. It was that's another story on why we ended up doing that. And it's a lot of me growing as a mechanic and growing on knowing how things are. That's a different story for a different time. That's the only time I've picked up a car. When I got there, the vehicle was completely inaccessible. And if you had anything other than a completely jacked up 3/4 ton with tire chains and a Lincoln locker in the back and a whole bunch of stuff like that, I don't think it could have been done. Tell you the honest truth, especially in that time frame. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I quite like these sit down talking videos. It's very laid back and I like communicating these stories to you guys. I hope you guys enjoy them. I'll see you guys in the next one really, really soon. Hey, see ya.